Two and one. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast, where we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax referral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy, and using a proven tax referral strategy such as the deferred sales trust to exit highly appreciated assets, defer millions of dollars of capital gains tax so you can preserve and then create more wealth is an amazing way for you to move forward when you're exiting assets. For those who don't know me, my name is Brett Swartz. In each episode, I'm joined by some of the best real estate, financial, wealth, and business minds in the world, where they share their ideas, deal stories, and inspiration. So together we can make complex tax referral strategies simple and passive income plans achievable. Hey, I'm excited. By the way, we're also streaming on expertcresecrets.com as well. So appreciate everyone who's watching out there on our YouTube channel. I want to introduce you to our next guest. I'm excited about him. He's out of the great state of New Jersey, and he's on a mission to help you build financial independence through multifamily real estate investing. And for over 16 years, he has helped people realize a better future with passive income through multifamily investments and so much more. He's going to tell us his story. Please welcome to the podcast with me, Vlad. And I'm going to have Vlad pronounce his last name because it's a little bit challenging. So Vlad, pronounce your last name and tell us a little bit more about your story and your focus.
Of course, it's Vlad Arakcheyev. I know it's not the easiest, but it's unique, right? Because there's not another Vlad Arakcheyev out there. So you can find me anywhere. Thanks. I'm really excited to be here. And I live in New Jersey. And I'm a full-time in real estate as a realtor here in New Jersey, selling residential houses. That's how I started my residential career. And additionally, I'm a multifamily investor, and I invest in Texas, Kansas City, and the Carolinas. So how I started, it was just completely crazy. I was a graphic designer. I didn't know anything about real estate whatsoever. And then COVID hit, everything kind of went into crazy turmoil. I got furloughed, needed to find another solution. So another solution was, let's try real estate. Why not? I can become a realtor. Additionally, to kind of follow up with the tax theme, because if you're an active participant in a passive activity, you can write off more in taxes. So that's another awesome thing or benefit to become a realtor. So anyway, I started doing that, and then I got called back, and I'm thinking, what do I do? Do I stay, or do I just go back to the to the graphic design business? And of course, you have to be, if you want to be uncomfortable, if you want to be successful, you have to be uncomfortable. Completely resigned from the graphic design job, dove full into real estate, started flipping, did some wholesaling, and shortly after realized, so what's the true wealth, right? For me, it's time. Got a rental here in New Jersey. It was pretty good. I was netting $1,000 a month. It was awesome on a single family rental. But ultimately, shortly after realized I'm not a landlord. I don't want to, I was chasing raccoons off the attic. Yeah, no joke. So I didn't want to do that anymore. So what's the next logical step? Go big, right? So went into a multifamily conference in Houston, got inspired by all the operators, by everything that's happening in multifamily space, sold the single family rental that we had in Jersey, dove full 150% into multifamily, joined the mastermind or a mentorship, Jake and Gino. And now I'm doing full-time real estate in addition to obviously multifamily. So I'm doing both.
It's amazing, Vlad. What a cool story. We're going to dive into that. We're talking about building multifamily wealth. And if you want to learn more about Vlad, you can go to zontechventures.com. That's zontechventures.com. That's spelled ZONTIK ventures.com. So, so let's dive right into the number one secret to your success, Vlad. You've mentioned a couple clues there, but what would you say, and better than that, what's the number one secret to building multifamily wealth that you found so far?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest thing is, in my opinion, is support and mindset. one of the biggest things people, when they starting off, they cannot imagine buying $15 million apartment complex, because how can you possibly do this? You don't have that much money, obviously. So people are missing the big picture, where you're teaming up with people, you have different means of buying something. So you don't have to buy all by yourself. You have teams. Like, how can I buy an apartment complex in Texas and I live in New Jersey? Well, you partner up with people over there, right? You have boots on the ground, you have somebody, you have team over there. Technically, if you look at our team, only 2 people live in Texas. Everybody else lives everywhere else. You don't have to live in a state where you buy. The funny thing is, I know few people that live in what do you call it, in New Zealand, and buy stuff here in the United States. So if they can do it across the world, you can definitely do it living in one state and buying in a different state.
Okay, so the first thing is mindset, knowing what's actually possible. It doesn't have to be necessarily hyper local in the sense of you're there because you're in New Jersey and you're owning a $15 million asset in Texas. And the key is to have that support or that partnership with boots on the ground. Is that a fair summary so far for secret number 1?
Absolutely.
What is secret number 2 to building multifamily wealth?
Yeah, I think it's really believing in yourself, and ultimately, when it comes down to education. So do not think that you can just jump in and get something and be great at it. If you're doing I think if you're buying like quads and duplexes and things like that, it's very difficult. I mean, you can transfer the skills, but it's difficult, in my opinion, to go from, let's say, 4 units to 100. Because it's a completely different animal. So in my opinion, education is one of the biggest things you can do. So spend money and time on proper education. I mean, YouTube and podcasts and everything is great. It's going to take you longer, but if you want to accelerate your growth and get to where you are faster, I believe mentorship and education is important in this sense.
So believing in yourself, and so much so that you're investing into your education, into your coaching, into mentorship. Spend the money and time in it for advanced education versus let's just say active education versus passive education. Is that a fair way to put it, Vlad?
I think so, yeah. Because if you think about it, education with a mentor or a mentorship group is quite pricey. So you have to be committed, and ultimately you paying for a network of people. It's very easy to find somebody after you identify your market, it's very easy to find somebody that buys there once you're in the space. So if you're going to listen to podcasts, YouTube, it's all great. You're going to get the idea, but without proper guidance, you will not be able to accelerate as fast as with the guidance of mentors.
I couldn't agree with you more. By the way, you can learn more about Vlad by going to zontechventures.com. That's zontechventures.com, spelled ZONTIK ventures.com. Excellent. So we've talked about the first secret, which is support and mindset, right? I guess having people on the ground, it doesn't necessarily mean that your mindset doesn't have to be, I have to be in the state in which I'm buying, right? Which I'd imagine from New Jersey, New York, California, these places are A, very expensive, B, not very business friendly, definitely not landlord friendly, right? Nope. Leadership that is high taxes, a lot of regulation, a lot of challenges to own. Doesn't mean you can't make money on those deals or make money buying those deals, but you went to Texas with your team and you had boots on the ground, you built a team, but in the secret number 2, you believed in yourself that you can buy the bigger deals, and you went all in, as well as you spent time and money to invest into advanced active education. Those are the first 2 secrets. And now let's move into secret number 3, Vlad. What's the third secret to building multifamily wealth?
Oh, it's ultimately, even if something doesn't work out, keep on grinding at it. Keep on going. Don't stop. Because technically, and that's according to my coach, and I believe he is absolutely true, you have to underwrite 80 deals in order to get 180. So people it takes people maybe a year and a half to get the first deal. So it's a long game. So really you have to keep on grinding at it and don't be discouraged, because if you think about it, you're buying a business, right? You're buying a business and then you're running it. So it takes time to find the business that fits your criteria. Don't just go chasing everything. Focus on your market and focus on specific deal, on your specific niche. So my thing is multifamily, right? I don't do storage. I don't do ground up development. I mean, they're awesome, but I just want to be focused on my market, on my deal. So don't be discouraged and keep on going, don't stop.
Yeah, I've heard it this way, like own the market and own the product type for that particular city, that particular submarket, like just own it, right? And then invest with others who own their markets, and then always be lending to people who are doing the same, right? So it's kind of like a good way to diversify within commercial real estate, which is, hey, I'm all in on one product type. If it's self-storage, mobile home parks, multifamily, let's just say in like one area of Dallas, right? And I'm going to own that market myself and try to get 1,000, 5,000 units, 10,000 units. And then at the same time, I'm going to be investing with others passively in markets they own, like a Phoenix or St. Augustine, Florida, or a Huntsville, Alabama, very pro-business states. And then the third one, always be lending to those who are doing and own their markets. What do you think about that, Vlad?
Yeah, definitely. Like, for example, if I have money to lend, I'll definitely diversify, because if you think about it, investing in apartments is just one strategy, but there's so many out there. You have ground up development, RV parks, storage, you have hotel to apartment conversions. Those are very, very hot and lucrative now. I know a few people that are doing it and they're crushing it, but you have to be very focused. So if I was gonna lend out money for deals, of course, find an operator, find a great market, or do the research, of course, check the numbers and invest for sure.
Excellent. Now, you mentioned grit as well. So grit to focus on the market, and I guess even the grit to just not get distracted by, we call it shiny objects, but it could be a shiny new market, right? Which could be a good market too. But you're like, whoa, I've got to establish, the ground game here and the deals here. So the grit to stay focused, I think, is what you were saying. The grit to stay focused on your product type, not to be outside, especially as you're getting started and getting going, right? And then the last part, being willing to underwrite 80 deals just to find one within a year to year and a half, knowing that that's what it's going to take, right? It's going to take the constant, continual grind of underwriting, looking at deals, flipping over rocks to see which one is going to fit. I think that's a fair summary, Vlad, but I also want to build into the team now. So who is on your team, Vlad? How did you go about establishing and building the team? Any wisdom for that process?
Yeah, in my opinion, building a team should be your first priority when you find the market. Building a team is huge, because without the team, you won't be able to do anything. A lot of people say, "Oh, how about I just find the deal and then the money is going to come and the team's going." No. Because if you find the deal, what are you doing now with the thing? You have to move quickly. So you have to trust people that you're getting, quote unquote, in a marriage with 5 years at least, maybe more. Right? So building a team and knowing them is the most important, in my opinion. It took me approximately 8 months, maybe a year, to kind of click with people. For example, on my team, I don't do underwriting. Do I know how? Yes, I do, but it's not my strength. Have an underwriter on the team, have a great property like asset manager on the team that can literally walk anywhere. Like if I call her, I'd be like, "Hey, Jen, can you look at the property in Dallas? How about Houston?" She's right there. So it's really important to have somebody with the knowledge and skills and connections in that area. And ultimately, you have to just click with those people, right? To have the same work ethic. Like if you're working for 12 hours and your team member is working for 2 hours, do you really want that person on your team? You have to have the same work ethic, and also just kind of a similar mindset, where you have to be really focused on real estate. You have to be really driven and not just treat it as, I don't know, a part-time gig, because ultimately you're responsible not only for your money, but your investors' capital, because they trust you, they invest in your business. So I think it's really
that's really great. Yeah. So same work ethic, same values with similar mindset, driven focus on all in with real estate. You mentioned 8 months to about a year to really start to gel with the team, but you have an underwriter, and I think you said a good point. Even though you can do it, right? You said it's not my strength. My strengths are something, are different. So you have an underwriter, you have an asset manager. Vlad, what would you say your strength is, and how does it fit and gel with the team?
Yeah, my strength right now is capital raising, and also I find deals. So I go direct to seller, and I speak with brokers to find my deals. And also I'm all over everywhere. I market my brand, and if deal is out there, people would know about it. So that's another way of kind of marketing and putting yourself out there to make sure that people know you. But raising capital, I think that goes without saying that everybody raises capital, right? If you don't have to call yourself a capital raiser, because you just have to raise capital, especially in this cycle. So
excellent. That's great. So capital raising, finding deals, relations with brokers, direct to owners, and then the overall brand, so that again you can attract and more deals be sent to you. Is that a fair summary?
absolutely. Yeah.
What's the next biggest, I think, either team member to bring on for you guys now that you have an asset manager on the ground, boots on the ground, you have the underwriter, you have yourself? Would you say, oh yeah, if we're going to go to 5 or 10,000 units, we're going to need what?
Yeah, I think that if you up to 5,000 and up, I think you need to be vertically integrated. So you have your own property manager. You don't have to get like third-party property management. I think that would be the next step if you grow that much. Because ultimately, how I view it, if you get a deal that's larger than you can tackle, you can bring in additional help. Right? You can ask another operator or another team to come in and take the deal down. But when it comes to really asset managing, I think you can build up your team, and instead of going third party, you can be vertically integrated.
Okay, great. So it'd be the property management arm. Got it.
I would
Now,
say so.
this has been awesome. By the way, you can learn more about Vlad by going to zontekventures.com. That's ZONTIK ventures.com. That's Zontech ventures.com, and I say tech, but it's TIK. So make sure you're spelling it
Zontic. Yeah.
Zontic. Yeah. Kind of add my accent to that. Excellent. Vlad, are you ready to transition into some capital gains tax solutions portion
Sure.
of the podcast?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm curious, Vlad, what would you say your biggest frustration when it comes to the 1031 exchange and or lack thereof options for maybe investors that are selling other assets that might want to be investing with you?
Yeah, the biggest thing is you have a very small ID window, right? So you have to identify a new property. You have few months, and then you have to close on it. Additionally, you can technically do a 1031 into a syndication, which is perfectly okay, and we've done that before. But you have to create a tenants in common structure. And TIC structure is very expensive to create when it comes to a syndication. So when people move their capital into a syndication, a 1031 to defer capital gains tax, it has to be a fairly significant amount. And by significant, I mean like $1 million, maybe 750, maybe, but we prefer $1 million because it just takes so much paperwork, and you have to restructure the way the waterfall is and the way the splits are. So I think and also another problem, not a problem, but I guess a rule. Let's hypothetically say you commit to a project and something happens. Let's say a lender pulls out and you cannot close. That person with a 1031, he has to pay taxes, has no choice because he's out of the ID window. So that's another frustration that you kind of have to be aware of.
Absolutely. Yeah. We call that the 1031 exchange. Sometimes it's a blockbuster way of doing things, right? It's very restrictive, not as flexible. Can it work? Yeah. If everything lines up precisely. But some of the biggest challenges is that sometimes they don't work, or there's things out of your control, like the lender won't lend, the seller won't deal. Or the property itself isn't what you thought it was going to be. And all of a sudden, during due diligence, you're finding some big challenges. This is part of why we started Capital Gains Tax Solutions, to give people freedom from the 1031, to eliminate the need for the 1031, so that they can create and preserve more wealth on their own optimal timing. If you want to learn more about how to do that, you can go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. That's capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. Cool thing too is there's ways, Vlad, where you can defer tax not only on investment real estate and save a failed 1031, but we also help people defer tax on cryptocurrency, on business sales, on primary homes. And the neat part is, since those aren't even 1031 eligible, you can still defer the tax, but then you can also still invest into passive or active real estate opportunities and diversify that wealth. Again, go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com to learn more. It's capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. That being said, Mr. Vlad, are you ready for the lightning round?
Sure. It hasn't been a lightning yet. Let's go.
Knowing what you know now, if you could go back to your 25-year-old self, what's the one golden nugget to make sure to tell yourself to do?
You know what? Biggest thing for me was to get up off my butt and start moving. Do not waste time on things. I think back how much time I've wasted, or I was not confident, or my mindset I was just not ready. I would go back and say, make sure you're uncomfortable every single day. Do not cruise. Look at the big picture. Go deep. Don't go shallow. Don't go just like, hey, I can try that. There's no try. You go and you do. If you want to be successful, go deep on 20%. That's going to make the biggest difference in your business.
Absolutely. I've heard that comfort is the enemy of great, right? And the moment we're not at rock bottom, you actually rather be at rock bottom. You should be, our mindset should be, than be comfortable, because comfortable is not going to have you take action. It's going to keep you just kind of existing, right? Versus striving and pushing forward to achieve the things that can make a big difference and impact in people's lives, and ultimately bring you fulfillment when you're doing that. So I love the way you put that. That's fantastic. Take action to start moving now. Vlad, second question. What's the number one book you recommended or gifted the most in the past year?
Actually, Who Not How. Really amazing book. I bought like 10 of them. Biggest thing is people, I think, take on too much responsibility because they cannot let go, right? You build this baby up and you cannot just let go. So you have to find somebody who is more efficient than you are at doing a particular thing and concentrate on something that you're amazing at, right? Don't be good. Don't be just average at 10 things. Be amazing at like one thing. Be like, wow. I'll give you an example, right? A lot of people know Yona Weiss. First thing that comes to your mind, cost segregation specialist. That's it. That's all he's doing, and he's amazing at it, right? So same thing here. Be really, really good at one thing and just don't spread yourself too thin. Find another person that's going to help your business drive it 10x.
Love that. Great. Who not how, everybody. Who not how. Question number 3. What are you most curious about right now?
Oh boy, curiosity. You know what? I'm taking this self-development course with Dr. Benjamin Hardy. He's actually written this book, and now he has another book out called 10x is easier than 2x. So I'm working on 10xing my business, where instead of having small leaps, small jumps, I'm having huge, huge progress when it comes to business, self-development, and just mental health, everything. My personal life, my business, everything is 10xing right now. So that's what I'm working on, because in my opinion is if your mind and body is on the same level, then your business will be up here.
Fantastic. Last question. After all your success, Vlad, helping all the people who help build wealth in multifamily investing, being a realtor, being a W-2 worker, finding some financial freedom and some fulfillment freedom with everything you're doing. I'm curious, what's the number one practice that you try to do each week to stay centered in your values and stay encouraged to charge forward to reach even higher heights?
You know what? I used to be like, nah, it can't be, but yoga, meditation, and gym. Those are the 3 things. I mean, a lot of people do journaling and things like that, but I think starting your day off with just like doing something, just already put your mind on that level. Like, for example, I'll give you, just do meditation for 10 minutes. You already succeeded at one task without really doing much. You just there kind of just, thinking about thinking about it. So you're already like, whoa, look at this. It's like 7 a.m. I already succeeded at one task. That's awesome. Keep rolling. It's kind of a domino effect. So yeah, I would say working on your mind and body, meditation, yoga, working out. That's what you have to do, in my opinion. And then, of course, you can do, for example, journaling. You can do goal setting when you go to bed and when you wake up, stuff like that. A lot of people do it, myself as well.
Vlad, it's been more than a pleasure to get to know you a bit here on the podcast. I want to thank you for being on the show, sharing a ton of wisdom with us, sharing your inspirational story. I want to encourage you to keep using your gift of inspiring people, taking action, and helping people build wealth with multifamily investing. For our listeners who want to get in touch with you, would you remind them one last time what's the best place for them to find you?
Yeah, zonticventures.com. You can look on social media. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. I even started TikToking, and I'm about to launch my YouTube channel. So Vlad Arakcheyev. Reach out if you want to be in multifamily. If you want to be, just try it out. You want to be passive. You can invest in deals and still get the tax benefits, and of course, the cash flow from multifamily, and that's what we have to offer here.
Amazing. Thank you much, Vlad, for being on the show. I just want to thank our listeners for listening to an episode of the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast. We're also streaming on Expert CRE Secrets. We believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax referral options, and not having a clear plan is the enemy. Using a proven tax referral strategy such as the deferred sales trust is an amazing way to solve all of those challenges. We were talking about the 1031 exchange from before here earlier with Vlad. So make sure you go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. As well, I want to encourage you to pick up the brand new book that's coming out on the 20th, April the 20th, which is just a few days from now. We're recording this on the 11th, and it's called Building a Capital Gains Tax Exit Plan. And it's the proven playbook for unlocking your ideal wealth plan when selling assets of any kind for yourself or for your clients. Doesn't need to be a big enough deal. Typically 1 million net proceeds, $1 million gain, but you can go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com to look for the new book, also on Amazon, and or go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com to schedule a consultation with myself or one of my team members. Hey, I so appreciate everyone watching and listening, subscribing, liking, any love that you can show us. We so appreciate everyone out there, and we look forward to